Hello, my beautiful empathic beings. Yesterday, the Lionsgate Portal reached its zenith, and I am absolutely certain that you could feel the outpouring of energy. So, today we're going to look at how we can deal with overwhelming energy, overwhelming life situations, overwhelming anything. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and the angels have given us a fabulous tool as well as a deep understanding of how we can, as empathic beings, live a life of ease. So let's get started. They've got lots of great stuff to share with us today. And just so you know, this energy is like the full moon times 1,000. So if you are feeling a little jangly, you're not doing anything wrong. As a matter of fact, it's just indicating how sensitive you are to energy and letting you know you're doing a brilliant job of receiving energy. And now you just need to know how to process it more effectively. So, first, let's just make sure we're all on the same page about this Lionsgate portal. So, the Lion's Gate is something that happens every year. It generally is considered to open in late July. So, that would be maybe July 28th, and it's going to close toward the middle of August, so maybe August 15th. And then the zenith, the time when the power is most strong, when there is the most outpouring of energy, is always on August 8th. That's 8/8. And so you can know that there is that period moving up toward August 8th, where you may be feeling some agitation and movement of energy. And now we're in the period, the de-escalation period, moving from that high point down to where it begins tapering off somewhere around the middle of August. So, what this is the sun is in Leo, which represents confidence and expression, and it is aligned with the star Sirius, which is the brightest star. So you have this massive explosion of energy that you can either use to your advantage or you can allow it to overwhelm you and feel overcome by it. So, of course, we want to use this energy for our greatest good and for the greatest good of the planet. And yet, we can't do that if we don't understand how to use energy or have techniques that will help us process energy when it becomes this level of intensity. Remember, you are not going to change the fact that you're an empathic being, but you can learn how to use your sensitivity. So, Sirius brings us the expansive qualities of Jupiter and the drive to get things done, which is Mars. And we have that confidence and expression from Leo. So, use this as a time to really step into your fullness and get things that you desire done. This portal is going to give you a chance to evolve, to become more empowered, and to become that stronger, better version of yourself. And Leo says to each one of us, be brave, free, and strong. So we want to experience all of these emotions, but we don't want to short circuit ourselves in the meantime. So, as an empath, what does this mean to you, and how can you prepare in order to not be overwhelmed if this Lionsgate period did overwhelm you? How can you prepare so you're not overwhelmed the next time? First of all, recognize this is a heightened energetic period. So, you're going to have to be aware that you will be increasingly sensitive, and you may feel some headaches and body aches, some tiredness, and general malaise. Don't get upset if you're finding that this is occurring. It's simply an indication that you might need to add in more rest. You may need to add in more physical activity, even though you're tired. And you definitely need to add in more high quality food and water. Soda, juice, anything other than water is not going to have the same effect. So, all of this tiredness, headaches, malaise, just wanting to lay in bed all day long is definitely going to add to your feelings of overwhelm. And it might make you want to hide, shut down, and become invisible, which would be fine. I guess it really wouldn't ever be fine, but it would be better if you were not so highly sensitive. You are like a lightning rod for increased energy, but you have to do something productive with that energy, or it's going to run you over, mow you down, and make you miserable. So, we don't want you to get into the place where you're saying, I'm vulnerable, I'm powerless, and I can be victimized. No, that's not who you are. You are an amazing empathic being, and you need to learn how to use your superpower. So, when you withdraw for rejuvenation, you are not shutting down. Very different. It's perfectly okay for you to take time out for yourself, and that can include meditation. It could be a walk in nature, swimming in the ocean, some place in which you are engaging with the natural elements. You're shutting out all of the external noise and influences, and you're just reconnecting and realigning with your divine source. So, you want to make sure that you are getting some quality divine time during these periods, and that you are well shielded. There is an excess of energy, and it's affecting everyone. So that means tempers can be raised. And you, already being sensitive, don't want to be an open book for people who are going through a period of outrage or anger or disappointment or whatever it may be. And you also want to make sure that you are grounding and connecting all the time. So that means that you're going to have a beam of energy that's going down into the earth, connecting with the earth, the Mother Earth. You're also going to have a beam going up that is connecting with the heart of the divine. And those of you who are with me in the My Heart's Desire community know how much I stress this infinity loop of blessing and receiving. And that's interesting too, that the Lionsgate Portal is often represented by the infinity symbol because it is reaches its zenith on 8, and 8 turned sideways becomes that infinity symbol. So this will just remind you, those of you who are with me, to use that technique that I have taught you for blessing and receiving, and just keep it top of mind so that you are using it throughout the day. You're not letting long periods of time go by where you're just kind of open for business. You want to be sealed up and yet connected to heaven and earth so that you will experience an optimal connection to the energy and not feel frustrated by it. So, when you get to an overwhelm period, the overwhelm may say to you things like, I'm not enough. And it won't matter what circumstance you're in, what people you're with, what problem you're trying to solve. You're going to find a way to justify that you're not enough. So you're going to keep seeing yourself as small because you're feeling overwhelmed. Or it might say something like, I need someone else to do it for me. There is nothing worse for somebody who is already empathetic, which means highly sensitive, than to say, gosh, I'm not enough to solve this. I need some outer force, other person, something I'm not connected to do this for me. And the reason it is so tough for the empathic person to be in that position is because you have to be extremely vulnerable and allow someone else to take over what you can and should be doing for yourself. And most of you who are empathic have had experiences of abuse and trauma. So this is going to trigger all of those things, and it's going to reinforce that you are powerless. And this is simply not true. So when you feel overwhelmed, you may be telling yourself that you're not enough, but that is not true. So if you find yourself doing that, please stop. I'm going to show you what you can replace it with in just a moment, but it's really important that you don't keep giving in to that narrative. Evan says, oh, and I need my glasses. Yes, 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 yes. Evan asked, is irritation on the list? Oh my gosh, yes. It's like somebody is taking, you've got a sunburn, and somebody is rubbing sandpaper up and down your arm on that spot of sunburn. You're already highly sensitive. We're adding this intense energy that is not just confined to the empathic beings on the earth, it is pouring out on everyone. So you're getting this interaction that's uncomfortable with all the other people who can't figure out what to do with this energy. And you, if you're not well shielded and grounded and connected, are going to be walking the tightrope of, I'm about ready to break apart from the amount of stimulation. And now I got to deal with all these people and their inability to regulate themselves. I'm asking you to do the hard work, to be the regulated one in the room, the one that is serene, the one that is connected, the one that is holding it together, so that you can operate even when they are all just losing it. You, as an empath, are more courageous, have more strength, and probably more knowledge than most of the other people on the planet. So, this whole body of work that we're doing here is all about reminding you of who you are so that you will not accept the role of victim. And overwhelm could also be saying, oh, I need to be very afraid because I could be taken advantage of. Again, this is tromping all over trauma that you may have experienced in the past. And even though we can clear and heal it, you may still be a little sensitive to that. And that's why you get prepared in advance with these tools. You don't wait until you are 10 feet under to start saying, gosh, I wonder if I should have shielded and connected. And I'm only laughing because I've done that. Not trying to make fun of anybody. Oh, Audrey. Oh, I'm so glad Audrey's here. I have to tell you something else too. If you're not already a member of our Facebook group, I, you know what? I had it in the chat. I'll have to put it in again. It's called Healing Hearts. And we just have Audrey is a moderator there, and we have wonderful people who are sharing uplifting and inspiring content continuously. So just hop over to Facebook, join Healing Hearts, contribute your wisdom, and take from others what they have to share. Now, the reason that Audrey reminded me was because I kept saying, Angels, make sure I let people know that now that Facebook has changed their, whatever you want to call it, the way you access your page and your profile, I am having a really hard time navigating. And so if I don't respond to your comment, your question, or your whatever, it's because I am so lost in this new program that I'll, I'll figure it out eventually, but I'm not trying to ignore you. So please understand that you are loved. I'm just having an interesting time with this new thing they've got going here. You never know really who you are commenting as or interacting with. So I'm never quite sure if I've gotten to everybody or not. I'm trying to do it like 6 times to make sure, but just disclaimer up in front, you're not being ignored. It's just me and technology. And heaven says, ah, yes. Preparation is from the place of neutrality. If you are going to be aggravated by every little thing and you are already sensitive, you're going to make your life a living hell. And we want to get out of that way of being. So go over to Healing Hearts on Facebook. It's free, it's going to support you. Also, get on my mailing list where you are sending a new ebook out. It used to be a meditation. Now we've gotten an ebook. And it is just showing you ways that you may be in resistance to the assistance of the angels. And again, this is not coming to point a finger at you. This is coming because I did all these things and had to overcome those bad habits. And Audrey is laughing. She knows my difficulties with Facebook. It's been challenging. Anyway, so the next thing that overwhelm may say to you, and sorry for that segue, but I absolutely did not want to forget to apologize if I have neglected you or if I do it in the future, because it really feels not nice to me. And it was one of the things I used to pride myself on, was I answered every single comment, and now I can't figure out what they're asking me to do. So bear with me and just write me another comment and maybe I'll see that one. Okay. So now overwhelm can also say to you, it's not safe for me to be in the world. Again, it's going to pick on your weakest points. So if you have been abused as a child or during any time in your life, if you have been abused or you have been traumatized, those weak points, if you allow them, can rule and ruin your life. That's why in heart healing, we go in and deal with them so that even though you'll still have the memory, you will have a coping strategy, you'll have a strong foundation, and you'll be able to choose rather than react. Think of heart healing as a physical fitness program for your spiritual self. And I am saying this because I got to tell you guys, getting to the age where everything was sagging and bagging, and I was like, oh, I need more firming cream. You don't need more firming cream. That just deals with the surface. I had to begin a hardcore physical exercise program where I really worked my muscles and have begun building the foundational support once again. Nothing else was going to do it. I was really hurting. Why was I hurting? The muscles weren't working hard enough. I needed to really get strong again, because my muscles were saying, "Oh, we don't feel like holding you up. You haven't forced us to do anything in a long time." So even though I'm not loving it, I'm loving the result. The result is feeling better, feeling more supported, being out of pain, and recognizing I'm doing something really important for my body. Heart healing is the same thing for your spiritual self. Don't forget to lift some weight by doing this work every day for a short period of time. Don't commit to doing some spiritual work for an hour if you only have 5 minutes. Commit to the 5 minutes, be completely on in that 5 minutes, and feel good about yourself. If you commit to an hour when you know you only have 5 minutes, you will use it as an excuse not to do anything and to be angry at yourself for not accomplishing your goal. So commit to what you can do and be all in for that period of time. And it doesn't matter what method you use, it just matters that you are doing the work of connecting. So now, oh, we have one more that Overwhelm will share with you. And this one is so sneaky and so destructive that I really want you to be on alert for this. Overwhelm may say to you, well, I should expect to be defeated, disappointed, blamed, or left out. And something that used to happen for me, well, I should expect to do all the work. After all, that's all I've known. So I should expect to be the only one that will get up and do that extra or support the other person. If I choose to get up and do the extra work, wonderful. If it is an expectation that I have not chosen, it becomes a burden, and it's really going to wear on your spirit. So don't let overwhelm make the choice for you. You align with what feels good to you. Overwhelm is going to pick the weakest link or the thing that you may have done in the past to gain acceptance, and you may not want to do that anymore. So I am really, 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 really wanting to reinforce that I want you to be in charge of your life. You choose what feels good. You're under no obligation to anyone but you. But remember, no one else is under any obligation to anyone but themselves. When each person is honoring themselves and doing what they need to do to feel good, you're going to live in a world that's filled with joy, because nobody's going to be cranky that they're doing stuff they don't want to do. So don't be afraid to honor your heart, and don't be afraid to tell others that they need to honor their heart, even if it's not something that you particularly would like them to do. Let them have the experience. So, one thing we know about overwhelm is we only feel overwhelmed when we have assigned a faulty perception to the situation. Now, how do I know this? Because I know who you are. You are a powerful creator. There is nothing greater than you on the earth. The only being greater than you are the divine and all of the angelic beings that are part of that divine composition. But you are a magnificent creator and so much more capable than you may understand. So, you might be having a faulty perception if you're feeling overwhelmed, because you're seeing the problem as big and yourself as small. You may be forgetting who you are, or this is a big, big, big one. You're forgetting to ask for help. Now, in this particular case, I'm not saying go to everyone you can find and ask for their help. I'm saying go to the authority, go to the angelic, energetic realm and say, hey, I need help with this situation, and they will provide you insight. I just filled out a grant. Venmo has got a thing going on, and they're offering $10,000 if they choose your company. I said, okay, sounds great. I've just opened up this foundation, nonprofit arm of my company, and I would use that $10,000 to provide no cost counseling for people. So I fill this out. I think I've done an amazing job. I'm ready to hit send. And I think, ooh, I've asked other people, but I haven't asked for the angelic overview. So I called in my helpers and I said, okay, it reads well. I've gotten a good review from my human people. Should I send it? They said, no, wait, read the terms. I read the terms. I had to make an adjustment there. I had not filled out the field correctly, and that would have knocked me out immediately. And then it said, this question 2, you didn't put enough emphasis on what they asked. So I had to go back and change the wording to match up correctly with the question that they were asking. Now, I could have sent that and said, well, I got a good peer review. But because I didn't press submit until I went for an angelic review, I corrected, I think there were up to 3 different areas in which they called to my attention, and I realized that I had not really answered it in a way that would put me in the front rudder position. So I cannot stress enough how important it is to ask for help, especially when you feel yourself getting into an overwhelming situation, or if you just sort of wake up in the middle of the overwhelming situation and realize, oh man, it doesn't, of course, if you can stop it before it starts, it's better. But just because you got yourself in the middle of a mix up, reach out. They're not going to deny you. They're going to help you. They're going to minimize the damage and get you out quickly. And now they're going to give us a tool that will help us do some of the prevention work so you won't be here feeling overwhelmed by whatever's coming. So just remember there's a solution to every problem. And one of the things that you can do is break every large problem down into small, manageable goals. So if you have to, I'll use the grant application again. I had an application to fill out. I could have been overwhelmed by saying, oh, I've got this application to fill out. Instead, I just did the easy parts, my name, my business name. I did those easy parts immediately, and then took my time answering the questions and divided the questions up into, I'm just going to think about this answer. I'm not going to try to hold all the answers in my head. I'm just going to do this answer. And then I'll walk away from it for a while and see if it still feels good. And then I'll come back again. Just go back and forth with the process, but always a small, reachable goal so you can celebrate. So when you finish the answer to question 1, you don't immediately go into question 2. You stop, take a breath. Oh, that feels good. Maybe you need to get up, get a drink of water, walk around, take a walk. I don't know, but you will know. Let yourself celebrate every goal. It's going to cut down on the overwhelm. Yes, Evan, absolutely. You ask for help from the angelic realm. Just people are great and everyone loves to be helpful, but they don't have the quality of information that the angels have. I read that question 200 zillion times, I think. Thought I answered it correctly. Sent it out to a friend who I have the most respect for, who is in the grant writing business. Pose a red flag. Then, when I sent it to the angels, they showed me, a little change in wording will really make this so much more impactful. So there's always a solution. Break it down. Get the angelic view. I cannot stress that enough. Get their global perspective. It's kind of like we have to walk through fog and they can see clearly. Let them show you. And then build a solid foundation. So, in other words, what I'm saying is don't start trying to communicate with the angels in the middle of a high stress situation. Begin today in the comfort of your home when you're not doing anything else and start writing to them, talking to them, just engaging with them in any way that you feel comfortable. Now, obviously, if you find yourself in a high stress situation, still call on them. But just know if you have a strong foundation going in, you're going to deal with a lot less of the overwhelm, the confusion, the sweat of tension. You're just going to have it easy if you allow yourself to build that strong foundation. So now our helper is Archangel Ariel, and her name means Lioness of God. So one of her roles is to oversee the spirits, especially the nature angels of water. And if you are a big fan of Archangel Ariel, and she is certainly a wonderful, powerful energy, then having a fountain near you or some running water is really wonderful. She will help in any with any body of water with purifying and protecting that water and also animals. And she works with Archangel Raphael. Archangel Raphael deals more with our human bodies and human illness, although he does oversee the animals. But Archangel Ariel is sort of his partner for healing animals. So if you have an animal that is not doing well, Archangel Ariel is the one to call upon. Now, what makes Archangel so impactful for us today is that she is the master of manifestation. So she helps us to create balance and harmony. And when we are in our aligned state, we are more powerful than when we are disjointed. So she's going to help us create balance and harmony and help us stabilize when we are in a chaotic situation. So if you do find yourself just out of sorts, wonderful help to get you back into that place of alignment. She helps with the cleansing and purifying and blessing of your home. And right now she's telling me, don't forget that I also have a male form. Those of you who see the angels may see them male or female. They come to me and it's their essence that I am engaging with. And she tends to come to me in the female energy. I have never yet dealt with her as male, although I know it's very possible for her to be male and express that side of themselves. So don't ever worry if I say so and so is female and you see them male or vice versa. They don't have one gender. They're an androgynous. They mostly just show up in the way that is going to work best for you. They're not worried about being male or female. And Evan, you're writing me too much. I got to get my glasses. Oh, and Evan is asking, have we heard of Archangel Melchizedek? Yes, brilliant high priest. He is not here today. This is not his domain, but excellent energy. He is wonderful for building foundations. He is a very strong energy, but I don't want to get too far off the point. He's telling me that he's going to be coming this month of August. We're just looking at all of the ways that we can work through the energy of overwhelm. And Melchizedek will come when we talk about suicide prevention, because he is such a strong energy. So you'll hear more about him in the future. Archangel Ariel will, again, as I said, help you cleanse and purify your home. So if you just feel like, ooh, there's a lot of stagnant, tough, toxic energy in the home, she is a wonderful helper of blessing and support. And she'll help us overcome any environmental conditions. So if you are a real climate change advocate, or recycling, pollution, any of the ways that the earth can be supported, ask Archangel Ariel to show you where and how to put your time and effort so that you make the greatest impact. That's another way that the angels can always support us. We might run around trying this and that and this and that. The angels can show us, you know, you have talents that would be great in this particular space, or this particular space. Nobody can do it all and do it all well, but they can show you how what you do can be effective and powerful. So now I want to show you this technique for how we are going to get prepared in advance. Oh, interesting. Evan is saying he showed up in a triad with Metatron and Archangel Michael, and Archangel Melchizedek. Isn't it interesting that they all have M's? And yes, that would make sense because they would be a tremendous support. You're getting the ability to release and banish negative energies. You are getting a new beginning, a strong building block foundation, and you're getting a really good support access to the divine. So that's a beautiful combination, Evan. Okay, so here's what I want to teach you, courtesy of Archangel Ariel. And I just want you to know that anything that I teach you, you cannot get it wrong. So don't worry that you may be doing it differently than I'm doing it. I'm going to ask you to do it the way that I teach you the first time, or until you are comfortable with it. But then go beyond what I've shared and make it yours. I never worry that you've modified something so that it works best for you. I am more concerned that you're not using it at all. Now, for me personally, I like things that are simple, because I find if the technique is too complicated, if there's a big breathing ritual and this hand and this hand and this, I get so confused in what I'm supposed to do next that I lose the value of the interaction. So I prefer to keep my methodology very simple in my own life. If complicated keeps your attention, then use complicated. I know somebody who has ADHD, and they said when they try to do simple, their mind is going 6,000 different places, and it's difficult for them to concentrate. When they have to keep changing things that they're doing, their mind is so engaged that they are able to focus easily. Do what works best for you, and only you know. I'm going to teach you the simple way. If you need to add complicated things to it, go ahead. Just make sure you're using it, because these techniques can't support you, can't benefit you unless you use them. Same thing with communicating with the angels. If you never talk to them, if you never take time to build a relationship, if you're always just later, 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 you're not going to have enough of a support to be able to really understand what they are saying to you. They're always going to want to communicate with you, but you may not hear it, see it, or feel it because you just don't have a strong enough connection. So build that connection, and it will be easier and easier and easier to interact with them and get their great help and advice. So now here's what we're going to do. Those of you who are familiar with EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, and if you're not, the internet, YouTube especially, is loaded with emotional freedom technique videos, and many of them are really, really good. Rebecca Marina did quite a few. There's another gentleman, I forgot his name, been doing it for years. He has wonderful videos out on that as well. For me personally, I found that it was temporarily effective, but it didn't go deep enough. And that's why we put heart healing together, we, the angels, and myself. But that doesn't diminish that EFT can be a wonderful support. So we're going to modify an EFT technique today so that we bring in our angel helpers, we program our subconscious mind, and then we use a physical signal to remind ourselves. And that's going to keep you in the place of, oh yeah, instead of, oh no, because we always want to stay in that place of calm as much as possible. And if you have a way to remind yourself that you've already programmed in, it's going to be easier to access that state. Oh, Audrey, brilliant. She's saying it works best for me if I tap my heart lightly. And that, now Audrey did a lot of heart healing, so she's familiar with heart healing as well. But you're never going to go wrong if you include the heart. And stimulating this heart chakra is a wonderful thing to do. Thank you, Audrey. That was quite brilliant. So now for this technique, we're going to take the thumb and the pinky. And the reason that we're doing this, you might think, oh my God, well, what's that? It's not going to do anything. You can be out in public. You can be in a crowded place. You can do this and be completely inobtrusive. Nobody's going to need to know what you're doing. EFT, which includes active tapping, so you're tapping on different parts of your body, can look strange to people, and you may feel uncomfortable doing it in public. If you do this and you happen to put your hand down by your side, who's going to see this? Who's going to know you're doing anything? The only one that's going to know is you, and you are the only one that matters because you're changing your energetic state. So we're just going to use the pinky and the thumb, and we're going to place this information in a state. While we are in a relaxed state, we're going to put this information in our minds so that anytime you put your pinky and thumb together, it will remind you to remember one of these phrases. Now, I'm going to share 3 of them with you. You are welcome to use them, to create your own, to do as many as you possibly want. But I'm going to give you a foundation using these 3 simple phrases. One of the things that I always like to include are the 2 words, I am. with any kind of affirmational statement. I am says, I own this. I can claim ownership over this. It also indicates that you are powerful and that you don't need to run away or hide in fear. And it triggers the memory that God is with you. No matter how you feel about religion, doesn't matter. It will remind you that God is with you because God is not associated with a particular religion. God is associated with every single person's heart. You cannot get away from that. You cannot sever the connection. You can minimize it, but it will still be there. And you knew in the energetic state that you were safe and you were loved. So this is going to help you remember what you already know. So we're going to use I am statements. And the first one you probably guessed is I am safe and loved. Now we're going to tap this so that you have a physical sensation going. You have that motion. You have a physical sensation going. And what you're going to do is take a breath, close your eyes. Just allow your energy to align with the divine. Anchor yourself into the earth. Place your attention on your heart center. Breathing into that connection while you're tapping. With your attention on the heart center, that's your power point. You repeat, and it's best if you repeat these out loud, at least in the beginning. Now, when you're in a public place, you're not going to have to say it out loud. But in order to get all of your senses on board, or as many as we possibly can, you want to say this out loud. I am safe and loved. Just repeat that. You may feel a warm feeling, a beautiful sense of well-being. Welcome it. Keep tapping and repeat. I am safe and loved. Change the intonation, change the speed. Give yourself a new way to relate to that phrase. And again, I am safe and loved. Take a deep breath, always. Reinforce with the breath. Keep tapping. Allow yourself to experience. Now, whenever you are out in public and you're feeling a little overwhelmed, put your pinky and thumb together. You can tap or just hold them, and you will remember. Practice this continuously, but when you put your pinky and thumb together, you'll remember, oh, it's okay, I'm safe and loved. And now if your hand gets tired, just simply change hands, and we're going to do another statement of well-being. And that statement is, I am always attracting everything that is in alignment with my highest good. That one's a little longer, but it is reminding you that the law of attraction is always working in your favor. There is no reason to fear, and that all of your needs are met. And there's no need to diminish yourself, take less, or assume that you need less, because you're always going to have more than enough. So let's repeat this one, and I'll chunk it up because it is long. Take a deep breath, keep tapping. I am always attracting everything that's in alignment with my highest good. Take a breath. Allow that to move throughout your spiritual self. Keep tapping. I am always attracting everything that's in alignment with my highest good. Now you may notice I choose to do this with my eyes closed. It reinforces what I am doing because I'm not distracted by the outside world. Again, it's up to you. Take another deep breath. You're starting to feel good. You're seeing how powerful you are. Let's express that. I am always attracting. Be confident. I am always attracting everything that's in alignment with my highest good. Take a breath, drink that in, allow it to get deep into your heart. And now we're going to do one more. And this is, I am worthy. This is saying it's okay to receive. You are reminding yourself to receive. You're setting up the expectation that you're going to receive. You're boosting your confidence. You're supporting right thought. And you can relax because you have value and you are worthy. So let's do that one. Take a deep breath. I am worthy. Really feel that. And again, I am worthy. Keep tapping. And finally, I am worthy. Take a deep breath. Allow that feeling to just move throughout your entire body. And now remember, you can change the phrases, you can repeat these. The thing that's important is not that you say it exactly the way I say it. It's that it feels right to you. You are getting benefit. So do the tapping, repeat these phrases over and over and over again until every time you put your thumb and finger together, one of these phrases or one of your own phrases comes to mind. And let me just finish by saying, oh gosh, guys, I gotta zip onto my group. Remember, what you believe you will receive. There is absolutely no way around that one. If I believe I have value and I'm worthy, if I believe I am a loving being of value, I am going to encounter situations that will support that. When I believed I was worthless and I needed to do all of the grunt work because I was the least valuable one in the room, that's the experience that I had. So you will receive according to your beliefs. And you must practice this. It's not going to stick from just this little bit that we did today. You've got to practice until you own it. You've got to make this be true for you. And the only way you can do that is through repetition. And of course, it's going to go more quickly if you have a cleared heart than if you're trying to overcome programming that is already existing. So you got to practice until you have no resistance, no pushback, and just calm assurance. So when I tell myself, I love you, it feels right. When I started and I told myself, I love you, it felt like somebody had punched me in the stomach because I didn't believe it. You've got to do the work until you can be in alignment. So, Audrey, I love you too. Sirius, I'm so glad you're here. Your star was the 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 star of the show, and um, I so appreciate each and every one of you. But I got to dash because I'm about to have so much fun with my group. And as always, you are invited to join our community. You can get access to this tool and so many more because the angels just are always loving us and gifting us. And you can do it for $11.11 a month. Or you can sign up for the group coaching, and it is a higher cost, but you will spend time with me every week doing the deep heart clearing. But gotta go. I love you so much. Thank you all for being here and for being just wonderful beings of love. You really are making a difference in the world, and I am so grateful that you've chosen to be a part of my life. So, love you all. Practice, practice, practice so that when you find yourself in a situation that could be overwhelming, all you need to do is a little tapping and you'll remember, oh, I'm safe and loved. I'm okay. I can find the answer. All right. Love you guys. Thanks so much. Gotta go.